Recently on CNBC, the head of digital assets research, Matthew Seigel, shared something truly shocking, and many people aren't ready for it. They're either sitting on the sidelines or paralyzed by fear over the last 8 months as crypto positions have been relatively choppy and have performed poorly. But things are about to change. The bull run finally seems to be here as Bitcoin is breaking out of its 8-month downtrend where whales have not only accumulated and price has remained stagnant, but now things are really looking to take off, as just yesterday we hit a recent high of $73,600. Then when you zoom out and look at the previous all-time high that happened in November of 2021, we had a 2-year cup range. We have another 8-month handle, and things are looking primed to explode through the end of the year into 2025. But I'll explain why this breakout is so important for the entire crypto market, and more specifically XRP, over the upcoming months, which will give us a reasonable time frame on when XRP could possibly break out to new yearly highs and even potentially a new all-time high. We'll be talking about Chris Larsen, one of the co-founders of XRP and Ripple, and his support for Kamala Harris in a new segment, alongside how that compares with Trump and why many folks believe crypto is at the top of their list in terms of important issues and how that will help them determine who they vote for on November 5th. We'll also be covering some interesting metrics that show just how much more room we have left for growth this bull run and cycle. So if you're feeling blessed and bullish, comment 777. And if you're going to be the wealthiest person in your family tree, smash the subscribe button. Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul if you're new here. And really quickly, I want to cover Visa and MasterCard, seeing as they are the largest payment processors on planet Earth. And recently they actually went through a long, lengthy litigation process that actually started in 2005. And finally they reached a settlement. Essentially, in a landmark decision, Visa and MasterCard have agreed to a $5.5 billion settlement to resolve claims that they charged businesses excessive fees for processing credit card transactions. In other words, they took business owners and bent them over and charged them more fees because they were basically running a monopoly between each other. And now this settlement and the deadline to claim is reaching a close. And I believe that happened sometime in February of 2025. In other words, a lot of this $5.5 billion has not yet been claimed by businesses. And if it's not claimed, I'm not too sure where that money is going to go, whether the government gets it or whether these companies get to keep it. But at the end of the day, you might actually be eligible to claim some of this money. And no, this is not some weird thing. It's truly true. You can go ahead and look it up on Google yourself. For more details, the settlement stems from a 2005 lawsuit that alleged merchants paid excessive fees to accept Visa and MasterCard credit cards, and that Visa and MasterCard and their member banks acted in violation of antitrust laws. Now, if you were in business and you had multiple businesses or even one business, and you ran a credit card through MasterCard or Visa from January 1st of 2004 all the way to January 25th of 2019, you may be eligible to receive some portion of this settlement. And for example, here is an email we shared with our entire subscriber base because we believe businesses have been getting screwed by Visa and MasterCard for plenty of years. And in this case, this person generated $23 million in business over that period of time. And because they get between 1 to 1.5% of their total revenue back from that period because they were overcharged on fees, and there's a $5.5 billion settlement, they actually got returned $321,000. Now, we're working with a white glove service that basically makes this entire process a heck of a lot easier for you. So they do work on a contingency basis, which means it makes life easier for you so you don't have to go through the long, lengthy process of doing everything. You don't pay unless they actually recover compensation for you, which is only due if your compensation is collected. And here are more details, but you can find the link down in the description below. And once you click on that link, all you have to do is enter your information right here, okay, in order to make sure that you might actually get something back in the form of a settlement. In other words, you're finding free money that you've lost over the course of 2004 to 2019 if you've been in business. Now, for some of you guys, you might have some questions, and those those questions can be answered at the link below if you scroll down to the facts section, but eligible owners whose businesses have been since closed or even went bankrupt can also submit a claim because during that time you were processing credit cards through Visa or MasterCard. Now, how much you're actually eligible to claim is completely dependent on how much you've processed, but if you were in business during those years, you might as well get any free money back you possibly can. And basically, when you fill out that form directly through the link we're going to leave down in the description below, you're going to receive a claim estimate within 7 days based on the Visa MasterCard revenue from 2004 to 2019. The firm handles the entire claim process for you to maximize your potential payout. So some folks don't know exactly how to do this process or how to find extra revenues, and this company is going to do all of that hard work, the legwork for you so you can get some money back. I think this is absolutely beneficial to anyone who's been in business during that time. In other words, they do an actual transaction analysis to uncover inconsistencies that could actually boost your settlement. It's kind of like, okay, I could act as my own lawyer in court, but at the end of the day, I should probably go to a professional who knows how to maximize the results I might get by going to court, because they're the ones that do the legwork, they're the ones that know the law, they're the ones that find the inconsistencies. And what's so beautiful is that even if you don't qualify, you can earn 3% by referring businesses to do this. So it's a great way for you to earn whether or not you've been in business. But at the end of the day, if you haven't already, make sure you check that out. Worst case scenario, you're not owed anything, but at least you tried and you were in business. You can find the link in the description below. Let's get into the video. Okay, so recently the head of digital assets research over at VanEck made an insane Bitcoin prediction that is really going to prop up the entire crypto market. Let's hear what he actually shared.
What you think it's going to be a $100,000 asset soon, 200.
Yes.
VanEck's head of digital research, Matthew Siegel, just revealed Bitcoin's next 12 months. With 107.7 billion in assets under management, you have to believe that when VanEck's head of digital research says this about Bitcoin, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of capital is listening.
Our bet is that this is a very bullish setup for Bitcoin into the election. We saw the exact same pattern in 2020 where Bitcoin lagged with low volatility. And then once a winner was announced, we had a high vol rally as new buyers come into this market. And that's the great thing about Bitcoin, is that every day there's new buyers being born. It's kind of like the video game industry. The olds who hate it die off. The new folks are buying it. And what we think is that once the election result is finalized, Moody's is going to downgrade U.S. sovereign debt. And that could be a catalyst for Bitcoin to catch up.
Doesn't gold correlate with the dollar and with M2 as well? And gold and Bitcoin seemed like the correlation broke down a couple of times recently.
Bitcoin is a chameleon. Its correlations change over time. It's hard to predict what it's going to be correlated with over the short term, over the long term.
But you really say it's because of the 21 million and fixed amount is out there, therefore the debasement of the currency favors that. I mean, that's...
Yeah, it's
some people call that fairy dust.
It's a non-U.S. asset. It's an emerging markets asset. And while we were all hyperventilating about the election over the last week, BRICS had a conference in Russia. There's 6 new members of BRICS this year. So BRICS GDP is now greater than the combined GDP of G7. Of the 6 new members, 3 of them, Argentina, the UAE, and Ethiopia, are now mining Bitcoin with government resources. So there is tremendous urgency outside of the U.S. to find a way to circumvent the irresponsible fiscal policy that we've been running here in the U.S. In fact, Russia announced an initiative. Their sovereign wealth fund is going to invest in a regional initiative to build Bitcoin mining and AI infrastructure throughout BRICS with an idea of settling global trade in Bitcoin. So look, someday, I don't know if it's 5 years, 10 years, Putin's going to die. We're going to look to reintegrate some of these countries into the world financial system, and they're going to be trading with Bitcoin. What are we going to be doing?
When is Bitcoin going to be complete?
I have no idea. He sounds, what you think it's going to be a $100,000 asset soon, 200.
Yes. You know, the smallest ever trough to peak rally for a Bitcoin cycle was 2,000%. If we do half of that, that'd be 1,000%. That'd be roughly 180,000.
When does this all go down? I mean, not down. When does this happen?
When it all happen?
I think after the election will be a significant catalyst. You can see it front page of the Wall Street Journal talking about debt and deficit concerns. Right. Like Moody's is telegraphing this. Right. They want to downgrade sovereigns who have 20.
Like Kathy Woods.
What's that?
Like Kathy Wood.
My old boss?
Yeah. How do you feel about her predictions?
I don't think about them very much.
I mean, do you think she's right? 500,000 is where she's at by very soon.
We have a model that assumes that by 2050, this is very long term, that Bitcoin becomes a reserve asset that's used in global trade and held by global central banks at a very modest 2% weight. And in that model, we arrive at a $3 million price target for Bitcoin. Now, that sounds, extreme, but that's a 16% compound annual growth rate for a couple decades. That's not really that extreme. So into the millions over the medium term is a high conviction call.
Now, 2 to 3 million sounds like an insane prediction for Bitcoin, but at this point, it's truly mathematics and it's complete demand as there is a unchangeable supply. So as the demand increases and as the supply remains at 21 million and major institutions and now sovereigns pick up Bitcoin, we're going to see a supply crunch of epic proportions, which will drive the entire crypto market forward and upward. Now, what he was sharing in this is that the election cycle is going to be quite important for crypto. And a lot of folks believe that Trump is favored to win right now, and he's obviously very pro-crypto, which we're going to talk about. But not only do crypto investors account for 1.2% of the population, but the states also rank in the top 5 highest intent states, where another 16.4% or 2.1 million people identify as very likely to purchase crypto in their future. And we've already seen the stats prove that Gen Z and millennials love Bitcoin. They love crypto. They feel comfortable investing in it, actually more so than traditional financial assets. Now, when you do the comparison between Trump and Harris, a lot of folks that are also pro-crypto are pro-Harris, such as the co-founder Chris Larson, who recently donated $10 million worth of XRP to Kamala Harris. Now, this is not new news, but here he is sharing his opinion on why Harris might actually be good for crypto.
You've given nearly $12 million, mostly in XRP, to the Harris campaign. Why are you throwing your weight behind the vice president?
Well, we're really excited by her economic message. It is a message now of pro-innovation and making sure that our American champions dominate their industries around the world. So I'm just really, really confident that this is going to be a completely different approach than I think I'll just say it, the failed policy that the Biden administration brought when it came to crypto and digital assets, because frankly, I think they just weren't paying attention and they sort of outsourced it to Senator Warren, and it was a disaster. But that is not going to be how the Harris campaign approaches this. I'm extremely confident in that.
And are you confident because of meetings that you're having with her team behind closed doors?
There's been a lot of meetings, I think, with folks that will be in her administration, with the industry, and not just with the crypto industry. Look, they've been on a tour all around this country, meeting with business folks in New York and in the Bay Area and LA, Texas, Florida. And I think consistently what they heard is the last administration was too anti-business. It was sort of this class warfare. And that's not how it's going to be in a Harris administration. It's going to be pro-innovation. It's going to be American champions, dominate their industries. And by the way, that helps workers, right?
But we've already seen this type of rhetoric from people from Silicon Valley to wealthier folks around the nation that really just like the Democratic Party and really dislike Trump. We've also seen Harris in office over the last 4 years, and their administration did virtually nothing for crypto. So I do believe a lot of these folks, well, the reason that they're voting in one way is just because they don't like the other candidate. But at the end of the day, Harris has had a very weak track record as a politician. And before they became the nominee, they were literally the least popular vice president in history. And all of a sudden things have changed. So people are going to back the Democrats no matter what. But I do believe at this moment in time, the administration under Biden and Harris has been very poor towards crypto. And I don't think that's likely going to change, even though last week Harris released their first semi-concrete policy on crypto, framing it in terms of race, stating that she will create a regulatory framework for cryptocurrency and other digital assets. So hear me out. Black men who invest in and own these assets are protected. That is an absolute joke. How about let's just make it protected for anyone who wants to invest in it and not make it about race? This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why is it just black men who invest in cryptocurrency? Why don't we create policies and frameworks for the entire industry and then open it up for anyone who's actually interested in making it a better future for the US and innovation and technology? Her minimal level of comment on the topic and the current administration's policies against the industry industry also speak volumes. And again, Biden always proposed all sorts of different things for crypto, yet never actually got it done. However, a Trump victory seems positive for the entire industry and not just Bitcoin. As recently, Trump proposed a zero tax on American crypto assets. During a recent interview, here's what Trump said. He said, they have them paying tax on crypto, and I don't think that's right. Bitcoin is money, and you have to pay capital gains tax if you use it to buy a coffee. I was talking with a friend, and he said it really shouldn't be taxed, and I agree. Maybe we get rid of taxes on crypto and replace it with tariffs. And by the way, we were a very rich nation when we actually were taking in income other than taxing our own people. And so Trump is going to be a very tariff-based president. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people do, but I don't even think it comes down to tariffs. I believe it comes down to the fact that they simply don't like Donald Trump. However, he continued stating no tax on crypto, but only on tokens made in the USA. We want tokens made here at home. We don't want the Chinese tokens. We don't get those Chinese tokens out of here. And to be honest, this would be tremendous for the entire industry. Imagine no taxes on crypto. Right now you have complete and total regulatory clarity, and now you allow for innovation back in the United States. He spoke more on crypto than any other president in history. And right now it's continuing to show on the polls as he is currently in the lead at 66.5% to Kamala Harris's 33%. Now that said, I do have a few metrics to share before we hop onto the chart really quickly that are extremely bullish for crypto, Bitcoin, and XRP. Bitcoin in March was $71,000. The Coinbase app ranked at number 20. Now what's really, really interesting is when you look back throughout history, whether it was like 2017 to 2018, whether it was the bull run of 2020 to 2021, whenever we actually peaked out in terms of the price of Bitcoin and virtually all of retail had entered the market, the Coinbase app ranked at number 1. Well, right now, Bitcoin is back to $71,000, and the Coinbase app is currently ranking at 482 in the App Store. The price is the exact same, but retail isn't back at all. It's scary how much higher we're going, and this is from Miles Duscher. Then in a recent post from Ki Young Ju, from Crypto Quant, basically stated that Bitcoin institutional demand is in custodial wallets is rising. In other words, institutions only buy Bitcoin and then hold it in a custodial wallet for total security and arguably regulation. Over the past year, 278,000 Bitcoin flowed into US spot ETFs versus 670K into whale wallets. In custodial wallets, institutional demand is twice that of retail, and here is the chart to prove that. And yet again, on the exchange reserve chart, we're seeing a severe decrease of Bitcoin available on exchanges. So typically, this purple line, what it means is that the less Bitcoin there is available on exchanges, typically that's being removed or withdrawn from exchanges, tossed into a private wallet, a cold storage wallet, a custodial wallet, if you will, and that means it is not for sale. Now, a lot of these folks, the reason they do that is because they want the security of not your keys, not your crypto. They want to hold on to their Bitcoin longer. They believe the price is going to go higher. So consistently since March, we've seen a severe decrease in supply while the price is now starting to trend up and break to its previous all-time high at $73,000. I think things are really going to turn around for Bitcoin and crypto, and now we are at the precipice of a major breakout. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a chart of Bitcoin versus XRP. Right now, the candlesticks represent Bitcoin. The purple line represents XRP. And as you can see here, when Bitcoin breaks out and puts in some new all-time highs, right, even here in December 17th or December 8th of 2017, very close to its all-time high of that range, XRP was actually lagging pretty hard, right? The line hadn't really pumped. Well, then shortly thereafter, about a month after, XRP pumped really hard on January 4th through January 7th of 2018. In other words, Bitcoin needs to look very healthy for XRP to perform. And then in similar fashion, right, they both started being very positively correlated. In other words, when one was going down, the other went down. When one pumped, the other pumped. They both went down together. They both pumped together. In similar fashion, we saw something happen back over here in the bull run of 2020 to 2021. Now, the reality is Bitcoin performed very well, right, putting in some nice new highs. However, XRP kind of underperformed the market because of the lawsuit with the SEC. However, when we look at the correlation, again, in similar fashion, Bitcoin is trending really strong, okay, putting in some new higher highs, while XRP through this entire range was lagging. And then bam, in a single couple of weeks, XRP exploded and put in an 800% gain from the lows back here. So that said, XRP tends to lag Bitcoin. Bitcoin needs to be in a very long, strong, healthy range, and then shortly thereafter, Bitcoin, or excuse me, XRP will perform. Well, in similar fashion, what are we seeing here? We're seeing XRP lag, Bitcoin starting to break out and likely going to perform and put in some new all-time highs. And then in a few couple weeks, maybe even a month, you'll see XRP explode and it will follow Bitcoin. So I'm going to be looking at Bitcoin. I'm going to be watching it closely as it continues to break out. Yes, I'm making other investments in the crypto space. I'm holding on to my XRP bag because I don't want to miss that move, and it usually comes within a couple weeks to a month after Bitcoin. So if you enjoyed the video and learned something new, be sure to subscribe, like the video, it helps us out. Leave a comment down below with when you think XRP is going to break out to some new yearly highs or even an all-time high. And of course, go to bullrunners.com. We'll leave the link in the description below, alongside the Visa MasterCard settlement link if you were in business from 2004 to 2019 and processed any amount of money through there, right? It's better to just check and make sure versus not get anything back at all. And then finally, if you are ready to become a crypto millionaire, then you can join our early bird list for exclusive altcoin picks, market analysis, and access our crypto education inner circle. This is a beautiful way to really get a step up and above through 2025. If you really are going to take your crypto investing and trading seriously, there's no better way than go to bullrunners.com, subscribe. It is on a first come, first serve basis. We haven't launched just yet. We're still working on a few things, but the people that sign up sooner rather than later are going to get priority access. We can only accept so many people into that inner circle because we want to properly service them. So that said, go to bullrunners.com. I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Thanks so much for watching the video, and I'll see you next time, my friend. Goodbye.